All right, you groovy, and I do mean groovy grasshoppers. The new most popular show around the planet at 10 o'clock on Thursday morning. The great Rich Gabberty, he calls himself Studio.
Studio, that's great. Thanks.
Studio. All right, so this is like our fifth or sixth show now we've done.
This is number five. Number five.
So Rich is a very good friend of mine. We had kind of lost touch with each other. We coached together with Westchester Mariners. And he's done a lot of fantastic things helping the players. I mean, with the coaching part of the hockey, first of all, but also really caring about people. Great Rich Gabberty. He's also a tour manager with Aerosmith. He only says that about 20 times a day.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I couldn't wait. I was thinking of saying that. I couldn't wait to say that. Yes. And Rich is doing a fantastic job now in the motivational world, working with a lot of everybody. He's down there in Florida. So how are you doing there, brother?
I'm great, Tom. Thanks. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I gotta bare my soul a little bit, okay? This is serious business. I really need you to straighten me out here. So my arch nemesis, Pepper the dog.
Oh God.
I snapped a little bit the other night. So I've told you the story of the dog, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
In this condominium complex, there's a lot of people with dogs, and some people with dogs. The dogs are controlled, and I love dogs. But it seems we got this one dog, and the family just loves their dog. You can tell it's a couple. I don't think they have children. I don't think.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's a huge part of their life, and they tie it up out front and they play with it. It's barking all the time and everything. And I go back and forth and think, should I be mad about it or just drop it? So, are you a dog person?
I like dogs.
Like
That's about it. I don't have dogs. I'm lucky I could get myself to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to worry about walking the dog. Here's a picture of my dog. Yes, I love dogs and cats. I'm an animal person.
All animals. Right. You're full of crap too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other night, I think it was Monday night, I'm sitting on my back deck. I'm on the phone with a client, and Pepper and Pepper's mama come over to a neighbor who was right behind my deck. And the neighbor also has a tiny dog. And the two women are standing there talking to each other. And the dogs are just screaming at each other.
Oh, God.
Barking away. So, and the guy I'm on the phone with goes, "Where do you live?" Like, it's like it was a dog pound or something.
Where do you live?
So I was laughing at first, and it just kept going. And I snapped, and I haven't snapped like that in a long time.
No. No.
I went, "Enough. Stop the dogs barking."
Oh,
I think I scared the dogs so bad they stopped barking too.
and of course you're the bad guy then.
Oh, totally. And I felt like an idiot after. Yeah.
Oh my God. So what kind of dog is Pepper? Let's analyze this step by step.
Small little furry things. I don't know what.
Oh yeah. Okay. A little small furry thing. Yeah. And what was the other dog? The other dog was what was
small little furry things. Well, yeah.
So the two of them are yapping. That's not really a barker, right? They're yapping.
Oh yeah, and it's right behind, probably like 20 feet behind my back deck where I'm on the phone. Oh. It's a beautiful night and everything.
Oh.
And part of me feels bad. The other part is like, well, like there's a lot of people that have dogs and they have them totally under control. If they may bark occasionally, but so okay.
Yeah. But that's like with kids screaming at a restaurant. Let's say,
yeah,
you go to a restaurant and kids are screaming and everybody, oh, how cute is the kid? How cute is the kid? And the kid is screaming his ass off.
Right.
And
it's kind of like it's like disrespectful to the other people around.
I think that they're not self-aware. I think that there's so many people that are not self-aware when it comes to that stuff. And you finally just snapped. But it wasn't like when you say a snap, you didn't F-bomb anybody, right?
No swearing, no threatening, no.
That's not a snap. That's just you raised your voice a little bit, Tom.
I know, but
you know what I'm saying? And then you feel bad afterwards, right?
Yeah, I do.
Because of course we carry the burden of being like, the over 60-year-old 6 foot something, 200 something pound guy, right? You know what I mean? Like the Neanderthal, they look at us like cavemen, and they don't realize that we're soft and compassionate people.
Yes, exactly. But it's funny too. It's like, I'm sure you're the same way. So now, because of all the work we're doing, the motivation world, helping other people and everything, you go places like where I march in the morning. This one woman stops me. She goes, "Who are you?" She says, "You just lift everybody else up." Because I know you're the same way. It's just,
why not?
We're in this mode where just people come along and you can't just walk by somebody. You say hello, how you doing? Good job, way to work out there. And then I'm at the gym the other day, and this one gentleman came in. I just met him, and he goes, "Like, you're like a hero around here," And so I go from people saying all that kind of stuff, and here I am yelling at two women with two dogs.
Yeah, because you're only human, though. I mean, listen to me. Right? Stuff happens, right? Things are going to happen. I mean, it's really that simple.
Yeah.
I think things happen, but you're aware of it. I mean, what
Yeah.
the heck?
Are you pretty good with your temper? I mean, you got that Italian blood.
No, I work on it.
Yeah.
But I'm not a raving lunatic or anything like that. I really go through life just trying to be mindful. I mean, it starts in the morning, and this is all, and it could get thrown out the window in a heartbeat, right? So we talk about that. So I'm just mindful of it, and I got to stay healthy, and I can't overindulge in anything. You know what I'm saying? I luckily, I mean, doesn't matter when I avoid getting hangovers. I don't drink to excess. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I can't afford to. How's that? You know, I can't afford to. But and when I wake up, like this morning, I woke up at 3 a.m. Okay, there was no reason really, and so just before the negativity starts, you know, taking charge, then because at 3 o'clock in the morning, nothing good happens for me. You know, I just turned on, I went to Instagram. I started looking at the God channel and listening to all the stuff there for about maybe 20 minutes. And then I said, let me go back to sleep because I have my routine. Let me go back to sleep. And that's what I did. So I don't put myself in bad situations. I try not to be around negative people. We all know negative people, right? It's easy enough for people our age, okay, guys, to go to the gym, and there could be negative people there, and you could hang out with them, or you could just say, hey, okay, cool, and walk to the other end of the gym and work out, you know, as far as that goes. So I try to avoid them. I'll you know, if I run into somebody like that, I'll throw them a little positivity. I think we talked about, you know, leaving Publix, and some guy said, can you believe how much the steaks are? And I just told him, I says, listen, then don't buy them. If the price bothers you, eat something else. You know, that's what I do. I'm eating chicken. You know, but yeah, I mean, do I have anger? Yeah, everybody has anger, but that's about hungry, angry, lonely, tired, right? I try not to get hungry. I don't allow myself to, you know, halt. So hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So if you're hungry, if I get hungry, anger, it could manifest itself in anger. If I am lonely, it could manifest itself in anger. And if I'm tired, you know, if I go out and I'm tired, it could manifest in anger. So I have to just be aware of that stuff.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you here 1 second. I forgot about that. Happy birthday yesterday too, Brendan Duffy.
Oh, Duffy, look at that. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Yeah, I actually took a nap. Brendan, wait, you know what? Because he's a sleep expert. I actually took a nap yesterday afternoon. That's how much I was having such a good time on my birthday that I said, screw this. I took like a 20-minute nap. I was able to dominate the evening too. I just kept going.
That's funny. I can't take a nap around here because the dogs will bark the whole time, so I can't take.
Are you kidding me with the dogs? Really? Are they dominating?
Bad. It is that bad.
Really?
Yeah. It's interesting you're talking about that now, about you not put yourself in bad situations. I find myself with the dog thing. I joke around about it, but there is times where I find if I'm by myself in my condo and the windows are open, that I find myself getting in a bad mood about the whole dog thing. Because it'll go like one dog will bark and then they'll all start barking. And then when they're walking their dogs, the dogs will bark. They see each other. The dogs do it. They're barking at each other. It's almost like throughout the day, there's constantly dogs barking. Some of them are farther away. Some of them are right by the place. And I need to be careful. I'm contemplating going to I've never done this in my life, I don't think, going to management and saying, listen, it's got to stop. I mean, it's just so, but it is interesting you say that. And for my example, it has become the dog barking. But I think part of it is that I'm letting it, I find myself, not all the time, but I'm letting it get to me too. Like it's becoming a bigger thing. Because I really think
if it's that annoying, though, if it's that annoying, I mean,
yeah, I know.
So it's time to move then. It's time to get up, get out, keep moving forward.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
All right. So we need to stick some realtors on you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a good way to meet people for you too.
Go out and look at houses.
Yeah, sure.
Coach.
Why not? Oh, look at that, Dory. There's our breath coach.
Oh, is this Dory that we emailed the other day? Okay,
yes.
So Dory, I've got a bone to pick with you, Dory. I was trying to be a smart ass and pick on Big Rich Gabberty here, mentioning that do you understand that he used to work for Aerosmith? And Dory didn't respond. And really, right off the bat, Dory.
Well, she was shocked. She was shocked at that comment.
Maybe she took me seriously. She was like defending you. She didn't want to insult you, right? Well, she's a breath coach.
Yeah, I mean, she's a health and fitness coach.
Right.
She's a legit health and fitness coach. She has done like Facebook groups in the past where people take her 8-week course, and people have lost anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds or even more. She could fill you in on that. But she does that. She started her own brand called Yum Switch. And the easiest way to, describe that to you and I is you take the cookies off your counter and you replace them with small little carrots. Because, and there's no, whatever for a family, whatever they put on their kitchen counter for munchies, it should be healthy. Instead, don't put Twinkies out there because everybody's going to eat Twinkies. If you put carrots out there, everybody's going to eat carrots. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Yum Switch is switching to healthy foods. And she actually, and then I'll keep quiet and you could talk to her online. She actually makes mac and cheese from scratch. And I remember you went to buy it somewhere and you were disappointed. Yeah. So she makes an incredible mac and cheese. And she always, whenever we have like a phone meeting, I'm always hungry, which is a big mistake. Because then she starts telling me about what she's cooking and I want to eat my hand.
So she's a good cook?
I mean, she knows how to cook. All healthy food, all healthy, Tom. So you have a lot of commonality with her.
Good. We're gonna have her on a show. We're gonna have another show with her.
But she likes air conditioning. That's the whole thing. Okay, believe me, she's a big believer in air conditioning.
I'll straighten her up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Lots of luck with that.
Yeah, we'll get her going.
Lots of luck.
We'll show her that she's just strengthening her mind.
No, she's pretty strong. She's got 2 twins. I think they're 13 years old, and she is doing that plus running a successful company, and she's got clothing wear and the whole bit. Interesting. And now, just because she had like maybe 15 minutes of downtime, she became a fully certified breath coach.
Wow.
So yeah, it's incredible. And I've done the breath work with her, and you do it on Zoom or whatever the link is that she uses. And in 45 minutes, it's good. I actually did it because I was in a rush. I did it in the parking lot and it works. Oh, yeah.
I guess I kind of do that. I don't know what I'm doing really like Dory would, but I find myself like if in the middle of the night, if I can't sleep or whatever it is, I do that deep breathing too, which I'm just throwing stuff against the wall, but
but now she'll give you the science behind it. It's good. I mean, I don't know when you're going to do it with her, but it's really, really helpful.
When I was going on Survivor, I had a trainer, a friend of mine, Robbie Sherwood, helped me, and he would have me. I don't know if I told you the story or not, but he'd have me memorize a poem. So I would have the poem down, I could recite it verbatim, and then he would have me either go in the gym or he would aggravate me or something, anything that would elevate my heart rate. And then he'd have me try to recite the poem again, and I couldn't recite it.
Oh my God!
And so he made me recognize that because my heart rate was elevated, what it was doing to my brain. And then, okay, what do we do about it? And he had me doing this heavy breathing, or deep breathing, or
all of that stuff. All of that stuff works. Ira Matthews switch Kit Kats to M&Ms. Way to go, Ira.
So Ira is he's going to be joining us at 2:00. Well, join us. He follows the show at 2:00 as well. A big Ranger fan, and he's very funny. We pick on Ira too, but so Ira likes to. I think he does it intentionally. When he writes in a message on a 2:00 show, he'll always misspell stuff because we pick on him. So Ira's pretty funny.
He'll always miss.
He actually has a good sense of humor because we do pick on him.
I think what's important though is that like what you're doing. Oh, here we go. Breath work is life changing.
Nice.
Just see that?
Dory, you're going to do a show with me. You're going to do a show with me.
Listen. Stop stealing my friends, okay?
I have to. Sorry, I get friends. Yeah, I'll take your friends.
That's baloney. Come on, you're a celebrity. I'm not.
Oh God.
Celebrity survivor. Got kicked off because of empathy. I can't see that. You're a sweetheart.
I know. It was interesting when the very nice doctor said to me, "Tom, you have a problem with empathy," and then I realized I don't know if we even know what it means. But we had a nice conversation about it after that too. And I think we kind of left it that, okay, maybe I do have empathy. It's just I'm a typical guy though, right? You always want to, if somebody comes to you with a problem, it's like you figure, okay, I'm just going to sit here and listen to it. I'm going to help you, right? I'm listening, but I want to help. And that's not what particularly women want all the time, right? Sometimes they just want to vent.
Yeah, it's hard. We're fixers.
Yeah. Isn't that what a man is supposed to do though? I mean, if a person comes to you with a problem.
Well, you want to listen. Look, listen, I'm working on it. I'm working on listening.
Right.
I'm trying, and so should you.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to tell you. That's a tough one. It really is, because as some women have suggested to me, they just sometimes want to be heard.
They want to be. Dude, there's a funny video. You may have seen it. It's like a public service announcement or whatever. And this couple is sitting on the couch, and she's venting.
Yeah.
And she's talking about, like, they don't show her full face or anything at first. It's kind of panning around, and she's talking, oh, the stress and pain. I got this pain in my head. The stress is terrible. Yeah. And you can tell the guy's sitting on the couch, and he's trying. He's listening. But he's also got that look on his face, like he knows what the problem is. He wants to help and fix it, but he's realized over time that he should just sit there and keep his mouth shut. So they finally pan up to the fact that she has a nail in her forehead, and he says to her, he finally says, and you can tell he's holding back. He goes, "Look, it's because you have a nail in your forehead." Now she snaps at him, like she says, "You always want to fix everything. You always want to fix it." And it just kind of encapsulates, I think, what a lot of relationships are like. Right? Like the guy wants to fix it. Yeah, but the problem is too, and I've had this discussion with women too, that when we don't know when to just stop and listen, and when they really want us to help, though, right?
We don't know much. We don't know when it comes to women. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, let's get serious here.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't win. First off, we can't win. We're competitive, right? We're guys used to winning or trying to attempt to win. So forget it. And what you're talking about as far as that video, that's a great video.
You seen it?
Oh yeah, because that's Jason Headley. So Jason Headley, he and his wife, Jason Headley, just a regular guy.
Right.
But he and his wife started listening to guided meditations.
Oh.
Okay. So then he had the ability to say, lay back, relax, and let the warm, soothing wind relax you. And so he did one of those, and it's called the F That, an honest meditation. So he did a video, and it's on YouTube. Okay. You can go to his.
This is the guy that's in this video that I was talking about?
Yeah. So that's the guy. In other words, he was active on YouTube a couple of years ago. the honest meditation, and it's F that honest meditation. He put that out in 2015.
Yeah.
It has about, I don't know, 7-8 million views.
Wow, is that right?
It's got 220,000 likes. And it's a meditation that I sent to you, which you never opened my stuff. I'm going to stop sending you. Really, I'm trying to help you. Look, this is more like a therapy session for you every week. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not talking about beer. We're not talking about that time in Detroit when we went out after in Cobb Hall and ripped up the town and all that. We're not doing that. This is like two guys here chewing the fat.
Right.
And I sent you honest meditation. Okay. And then look at how the higher power, right? The spirituality aspect of your life is sending you the nail in the forehead video, which is this guy made that video.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Oh yeah.
So it's a classic video too.
All his stuff is good and very popular. And he's got a bunch of followers on YouTube and he's a superstar. When
he's this lovely person, Alicia. How are you doing, Alicia? How are you feeling?
Oh, here we go.
Women are from Venus, men are from Mars. We know that. We speak different languages. When we learn to communicate all of those differences with feeling judged, we're up great relationships. Huh?
If you could limit your comments to about like one sentence, we'd appreciate it because we're having a tough time reading this stuff. Okay. I mean, we appreciate that. I will tell you this though, and I haven't finished the book. I started it. It just keeps growing and growing. But in response to men of, what is it? The Venus and the Mars.
Yeah.
The divorced people are from Uranus. Okay. And that's going to be my book. And it's stories about divorce. Okay. So John Gray, God bless him. I think he was married 4 times. Okay. And I think the 5th time is a winner now, finally. And he's the guy who writes those books. And then there's a woman that he was married to, maybe his 2nd or 3rd marriage, who wrote another relationship book. So I don't know if this guy gets married just to get material or you know what I'm saying? But he's very good. I got to tell you though, it is good. It's a little complex for guys like me and you, but yeah, all of that stuff is great. And once again, all we ask for is like all of Tom's friends, one line comments, questions, help us out here.
So here's another one too. help me out here. You're gonna. I want you to judge me here. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the judge. Good.
Yes, you're gonna judge.
I'm the Russian judge.
So I don't know if it's because I've gotten more set in my ways as I've gotten older. I've been single for so long. If somebody comes over, whatever, particularly a woman, and she decides she's going to tell me what I need to do differently in my life.
Oh, good luck. Go ahead. There's your judge. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh man, I just like, she could be the sweetest thing, and then that happens, and I know deep down inside, I know she's trying to help. She cares about me. She thinks I can do something differently, but it's like, okay, I just feel like, okay, well, this is the life I've chosen to live my life this way. So why am I now need to change it?
Yeah.
So
that's the truth, though. No, don't. Yeah, the suggestions sometimes for guys like us unnecessary. Really is unnecessary. What I try to tell people is that, if I'm talking to a woman, or if I go out on a date, or whatever the hell's going on in my life, if I'm with somebody, I remind them that there's a van with 12 women in it following us wherever we go. I bring my own baggage. Okay. I got my grandmother, my mother, I got ex-wives, I got ex-girlfriends, I got people I meet, whatever it is, there's 12 people in this van behind us. And all of my, I'm not really open to too many suggestions. You know what I'm saying? I brush my teeth, I clean, I work out, I'm in shape. I you know what I mean? I try to be mindful. I try to be respectful. I try to do all these things. So, should you stop working out at 3:43? I would think that that's a bullseye. That you're just walking around with a bullseye. Any woman that meets you, are you going to go again tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly. You go to the gym every day.
Yeah, every day.
Can't you eat pizza one time?
Yeah, yeah. Well, so wait, hold on. That's a good one. You don't eat pizza ever?
No.
Oh, God bless.
No, my diet is pretty. Other than the mac and cheese I had the other day, my diet is pretty much. I don't have a cheat day. I don't believe in that. I think to me, it all goes back to, and I know you feel the same way.
Yep.
I built what I call my magical life. I love myself. I love my body. I'm not going to put. I don't feel like I need to have a cheat day to.
What would be a cheat day though? Anyway, I don't. I mean,
Well, people have a cheat day when they're on.
Yeah,
a
no,
diet.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
So they'll have they'll eat pizza or cheeseburgers or whatever. And listen, everybody does their own thing. For me, I just think if you get to that point where you just really have built that life, you just love your life, you love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you talked about it earlier. If I don't want to put bad stuff in my body. I don't want to put bad thoughts in my head. I don't want to be around bad people from me. Right.
Yeah. No, without a doubt. So you know what? It's funny because I would think that people should really know more about it. And this is a serious question. What is your workout routine as far as are you one of those guys that does the push day, the pull day? Do you work body, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I try to change it up all the time. Like I will go through periods of time where I'll go on a 5-day cycle. So your chest one day, arms another day, shoulders one day, legs, then the HIIT program. I love doing the HIIT program, the high intensity interval training. So that you know what it is, but for other people, it's you pick 2 exercises at a time. You can do 3 exercises at a time and go. So I'll do 30 seconds of ball slams and then 30 seconds of the battle ropes. And then you rest for a minute. Then you go back at it and do it like 5 times. Do that for, 3 or 4 different exercises through circuits through. So try to work. So that's my heart rate's going up and down. It's a great way to burn fat. And if you're doing the right exercise, you're still getting the muscle workout and you're elevating your heart rate as well. So I like doing those. I try to do those every day at the start of the workout. And then I try to change it though. So one day I'll do like a chest and bicep day. Then another day I'll do a chest or a back and legs day. I have learned, like a lot of people walk around, I have bulging discs in my back from playing, but a lot of people have that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I played, that's basically why I had to retire. My career was probably done anyways, but my back was screwed up. But now I work my back so much now, my back and my core. So my back does not bother me at all. And to me, it's just another one of those things to say, okay, just because you have something wrong with you, something mentally wrong with you, something wrong with your body, it doesn't mean you can't cure yourself or help yourself. I mean, I'm not saying people don't get help from doctors and everything, but I just think don't fall into that trap where they just say, well, this is the way it is. I have a bad back. I'm just always going to have a bad back. Or I have a bad knee. I'll always have a bad knee. There's just so many ways we can help ourselves. So to answer your question, I vary my workouts. I rarely take a day off. I really love the gym. I feel like it's part of my process and the day. And I feel like when I take the day off, it just, I feel as good about myself. So I just try to make sure I'm working all different body parts all the time.
So you keep, so you change it up. I mean, if you think about it, we've been working out for over 45 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? If you, so if you think about it, so, I mean, we've seen every fad come and go.
Yeah.
Right. And so we have our favorites perhaps. And I'm always looking though, but we both fell upon the, luckily we didn't fall. We both used a half Bosu ball.
Yeah.
And turn it upside down. And I love that. I love that for balance. So
yes.
I find myself focusing on balance more.
Yes.
Totally. I think that's important. I want to maintain balance. The other thing is I'm not looking to bulk up anymore. So in other words, I'm pretty happy with the size, my size, whatever, however you want to say it. So really I'm looking to maintain flexibility. I don't want my muscles to disappear, because the older you get, you know, if you stop for any length of time, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose everything.
Totally. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to keep doing that, stay active. And so I'll do as much as I can, as quick as I can, quite frankly. So I like the elliptical machine. I like those rowing machines, the Precor rowing machines, and I'll switch that up. But I'll have I do 3 days of weights. I'll do 2 days of either the elliptical or whatever, and I'll 30 minutes, an hour, whatever that. And then I got to do core work, right? I work the core.
Huge, very important. Yep.
And I switch it up, and then sometimes I work with people and try to help them and get them going. And obviously I'm not there to impress anybody, so it's about me showing them certain exercises, because I think sometimes somebody might get intimidated by watching what you do in the gym, thinking that that's what they have to do also, when my opinion is what they have to do is just make a decision to start working out.
Yeah.
All right. And that could be planking. That I mean, somebody wanted to lose weight immediately, and I said, why don't you learn to plank a little bit? Start with a minute, and 2 minutes, 3, and after you get to 3 minutes, now that's something that you're going to notice and be a lot of people also aren't eating healthy.
Oh, I know. Oh God.
They're not eating healthy. So that's another thing. So I think that people shouldn't be intimidated by working out with somebody like yourself, because obviously you're going to design a program that's going to benefit them. And a lot of times it's just need to make a decision. They need to change their eating, their sleeping habits, perhaps. And then the workouts are all commensurable to what their goals are, what their fitness goals are. Right.
I agree. Yeah.
So,
and it's so much mental too, right? I mean, it's just, to me, working out is kind of like a spiritual thing. Like I don't look at it that, oh, I've got to go to the gym. I go, no. I love myself. When I go to the gym and I work out, my body gets better. My brain gets better. I push myself. I always try to make it into like a mental thing too. So if I'm doing a set of 12 reps, I'll try to pick a weight that I know at around 8 or 9, my body and brain is going to be saying, okay, Tom, you're tired. That's a self-defense mechanism. That's what they're there for. And then you fight through that. And you don't worry about the 12. You just say, okay, I've got to get 8, then I've got to get the 9, then I've got to get the 10, and so on until you get to the 12. I just find, for me, like when I leave the gym, I am fired up. Like I'm just like,
well, you should be.
Yeah.
Totally.
One thing too, you touch on. I tend to go in streaks where I'll find an exercise. Maybe I haven't used it. Like it's pullovers for me right now. I haven't done pullovers in years. I start doing it again. It's like, oh man, it's great. Or a kettlebell. I hadn't really used kettlebells.
Kettlebells, yeah.
Oh, they rip you up pretty good too, right?
They're good.
Yeah,
those are real good. The kettlebells. I love the kettlebells.
Yeah, like to me, if somebody wants to pick, say, go to the gym and only do one exercise and get your whole body going, you can really just do kettlebells with different variations on it. So
true. Yeah,
I'm with you with the diet too. They're like, to me, like I hardly ever watch TV at night, but when I did, so we used to have cigarette commercials in the past, right? They realized cigarettes were bad for you. Lung disease, cancer, all that stuff. So now they can't have cigarette commercials on TV. But we have such a problem with obesity and diabetes and heart disease. A lot of it's from the foods we're eating, right? But they still advertise all these terrible foods for you. Like I love McDonald's when I was younger. Take my kids and everything, but some of the food they have there, it's like, and they still advertise all this bad food.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's kind of why people get caught in that trap? It's like they're being told over and over. They've been bombarded with advertising to say, you're supposed to look at food this way. It's for health. It's not for health. It's for comfort and joy, instead of looking at food as something that is about nourishment, right?
Yeah, we definitely could change a bunch of the advertisements without a doubt. I mean, the other thing I wish that they did, I mean, if we had a say in it, I would love to teach kids in school, in grammar school, start throwing positivity at them.
Yes.
Teach them that thinking positive. Teach parents what you tell your kids growing up the first 8 years is really going to wire them a certain way. Just talk positivity to these people.
Absolutely.
I cringe when somebody says, "Oh, he's a little devil. He's a devil. Terrible twos. He's a monster," because the kid's listening to that. And you know what? He's not a monster. He just needs. He's like the yelping dog. He's like the dogs in your complex. You know what I mean? It's nobody's telling that kid positive. Nobody's teaching those dogs to shh, relax, whisper to each other.
Teach them how to be healthy and everything too. It's like healthy mentally and physically, right? And just I spoke to a class, graduating class at a college about 4 or 5 years ago, and they asked us some great questions like, how do you make that great first impression? And I told him, I said, well, listen, like it's how you carry yourself. You look at the person in the eye, you shake their hand firmly, you listen to the conversation, your positive outlook and everything like that. And it's like they'd never been told that before, and I think maybe it's a generational thing too, that we grew up being kind of told that, okay, if you're going to meet somebody, look the person in the eye and shake their hand hard, right? So at the end of the presentation, they're all coming over to me to say goodbye, and they're making a point that they're looking right in my face, showing their shaking hand. And I didn't get it at first what they were doing, but it was pretty funny. They were telling me.
No, but it's good though. I mean, but that's what we should be teaching these kids.
Yeah.
That's one of the classes. I mean, I don't know how. Look, calculus, whatever they're teaching in school, it should have a component of how to walk out into the world and be a human being.
Totally.
I mean, it's
especially nowadays with all the social media stuff, and kids are just sitting there in front of a computer all the time. It's just,
I love some of these comments though. Somebody saying marital advice from Melnick, and you know what? But here's the story with that. The guy's married 35 years.
Oh, I know.
So Ira's got a point there. I know he's breaking out chops, but Melnick, whatever his story is, God bless. And I saw something as I'm trying to help you become the next Fox News or CNN or whatever, the next media giant out there. I saw something. Melnick's wife was on something, and she's a sweetheart.
Oh,
you did some kind of a podcast, and somehow she was on for 5 minutes.
Yes, we had her on. We were
right.
Our
so I watched it. Fantastic.
Yes, she's a beautiful person. Like, she's beautiful as a person. You know what I think it is with Larry? Like, he puts on. I'll never say this in front of him, but I think he knows already. But he puts on an act like he's, Mr. Grouch, that kind of stuff. I think the reality is he's a fantastic father, a fantastic husband. I know as a friend, we kind of hadn't talked to each other in years, but when we played together. We were partners and very good friends too. So he's a good man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's
all right. Alicia's at it again. She's a little shorter this time. Dr. Bernard Jensen said, "Our bodies are like rivers. They can handle some toxins, but not too much because the river becomes polluted. In our body means diseases." Very good, Alicia. Nice.
Jesus. Nice. All right. Well, listen, infrared sauna. Tom, infrared sauna. That's it. And those are long comments. Look, Mike underneath. This is a very concise comment here. For the most part, kids today are socially bankrupt.
Do you agree with that statement? Do you agree with that though? Not to disagree, Mike. I don't mean to be picking on you. I think it's a good discussion.
I think that our society can send out better messages. I think that we as a society have to send out better messages. I think that there's I really wish there was more unity. I wish there was more discussion, more intelligent discussion out there. I think that would be beneficial. And I think that I was watching something about the level of success can be associated with how much you use your phone, how much you're on your phone.
Yeah.
And I remember watching one time four guys that I was coaching, and it was like a team barbecue. And I watched four of them, and they sat at the same table, all of them, and they were all in their phones.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I took a picture of it because I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like,
yeah,
they weren't talking to each other. They're at a party that we had to unify the team. And these knuckleheads all found each other, and they're sitting at a table on their phones. So Um, I'm sure that a portion of the kids today are socially bankrupt. I don't know if they really know how to interact. That
That's
other than the phones. So
yeah.
Mike has a point, and I'm sure that there are kids that can do that. But your success is not dictated upon how many followers or likes you get on a video or what clothes you're wearing. I like the fact that there's a lot of schools now, public schools, that have uniforms, because there are kids that go to those public schools. Some have money, some don't. And the kids that don't, how do they compete with the kids that are wearing the newest stuff? And, things of that nature.
Do you think it's worse now than it was in the past? I mean, like, we've gone through periods, like you hear some people say, oh, the country's in such terrible shape. It's never been so bad. But I think back, we've had wars. There's been world wars. We've had the Great Depression, plagues, all that stuff. I mean, I don't think it's worse. It's certainly different than it has been in the past, right?
It's different because of technology, I believe. Yeah. I think technology, information, the way it's dispersed, and also I also believe that the media outlets nowadays have a message.
Yeah.
In the past, they were just supposed to report about what was going on, and you can make your own determination. Now they're trying to make you follow what their belief is. So that's why sometimes for me, the best thing to do is watch something from the BBC about America.
Sure.
or some other news outlet.
Or I hate, like I don't even, like I said, I haven't watched CNN or Fox or anything, like, probably been years since I watched those. Yep. One of the biggest things I found is like they would intentionally get two people on opposite ends of the spectrum, and they would just talk over each other and yell and say stuff to each other that's rude and disrespectful. And it's like, what am I doing watching this stuff? Like, that's, honest to God, that's been one of the biggest things for me. Just turn the TV off and stop listening to the news, right? Yeah,
absolutely. Because you watch those TV, you can't help but get agitated by watching it.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the movie Network back in whenever the heck that was, where the guy opens the window and goes, "I'm mad at hell and I can't take it anymore."
That's classic. That's a great one. Yeah.
It's a classic. That's a classic show. I'm surprised people don't bring that movie back, because it is ridiculous. A lot of that stuff it's just so unnecessary.
Right. You almost tell from talking to somebody whether they watch the news or not, because they take on that personality if they watch the news all the time.
Yeah. And those aren't my talking points. My talking points are like, that's why, and I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but I have to do what's good for me. Totally. And what's good for me is I go watch the sunset or the sunrise. And I really do. And it's not like I live on the beach, because I don't. I get out there if I see what time the sunset is, and I get out there maybe 20 minutes beforehand. I go to a part of the beach where nobody's around me. If it's a special day, I'll even bring a cigar, and I just love it. And I'll take video, and sometimes it's just a good, it's good. Yeah. And it really does help me. There's a guy, and I think you were talking about it with somebody else, and I'm going to screw his name up as I usually do, but I think it's Haveman. Okay. And he's a doctor. And he makes some good videos, and one of them that he suggests, which you follow and I follow without even knowing it, and he's a doctor. Anyway, is in like within the first 30 minutes when you wake up, you want to get outside or be around light. Okay, so I'll actually make I'll have my lemon water, and I'll go outside and stand outside and try to get 5 or 10 or 15 minutes worth of that sunlight. Yeah. And it starts your internal clock, he says, and I believe all that stuff, and it works. So I have my process, and when it comes to news, if something devastating occurs, well, then I go on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I get it that way, and I'll pick and choose what I listen to, because it can drive you crazy.
Yeah, like we're really not going to change. It's terrible what's happened over in the Ukraine, for example, right? What Russia's doing is terrible, but I mean, us knowing every detail isn't going to change what's happening over there, unless we're planning on going over there to help fix the problem. Then that's different. But and I'm not trying to belittle what's going on there. I want to make sure I say that properly. But us knowing watching the news and hang on to, and I think it's the same thing. The Weather Channel, for example, there's a storm. They make that into a big news event, right? Like it's cold now; it's a polar vortex. Or if it's hot, it's a heat advisory. Well, I don't think I need to be advised that it's hot or not. Open the window. So,
I just need to know when the hurricane's going to hit and figure out where I'm going to go. As far as that goes down here, and that's in September. That stuff starts. So I'll figure that out when it happens. But I know
you're right though about getting up in the morning. When I go out and do that video at 3:53, after I've done the video, I stand there for a while. It's like I think to myself, wow, this is unbelievable. Like and for me, there's nobody else out there at that time too. So.
Yeah, it's great.
He gets up and stalks his neighborhood in the dark every morning, half naked. Billy.
Oh God, let me tell you, those dogs are in trouble. Now they're not yapping at 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning.
No, and here's the thing too. I'm about to me at 3:30. I'm wired. I'm ready to go, right? Because that's my routine's going. This is
you're scary.
Life now. Yeah. So I have been tempted sometimes to bark at 3:30 in the morning outside, but there's other people that live around that are very nice people that got kids and everything. I said I can't do that. Just,
oh my God, that's great.
I did a little barking last night.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah, I was sitting outside and they barked, and I was just sitting there. So I'll just join in then. So I started doing a little barking. This felt like good therapy. They must think I'm a total nutcase.
All right, so you wake up in the and they're not too far from the truth. But anyway, so 3:43, you make the video. You take your walk around the water there.
So what happened in the past was before
on the Long Island Sound. That's the Long Island Sound, right? Nobody's gonna.
So before the pandemic hit, I was the march was the first thing I would do in the morning. Then I would go to the gym. But because this gentleman he asked me to help promote his gym, he opens at 6. So I go in early at 4:30. So I've kind of changed. So I go out and I do the video at 3:53. An old teammate of mine asked me to do it exactly 3:53. He grew up in a trailer park in Canada, and that was the number on his trailer. And he had kind of a rough upbringing. So he asked me to do that. So that's become the tradition. So at 3:53, it's on Instagram. By the time I get over to Facebook, it's 3:54. And that's every day. Come back in. I get my amino energy drink ready with citrulline and beta alanine in it, a little matcha. So it's a lot of caffeine.
Matcha, yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then so at 4:10 out the door to get to the gym. Actually at 4:10, it's to sit down to put the boots on, get to the gym, and usually at the gym at 4:25 and then leave the gym at 5:55.
So that comes from like playing hockey where you had the time with the game times and everything like that, warm-ups, 5:30. What
I get into a panic mode. Like if I look at the clock and it's 4:11, not 4:10, like I'm in a panic mode now. Like I said, I screwed up my day. I missed by a minute. Same thing if I ever miss like with doing the thing at 3:53, 3:54. Like I really feel like I've let down my former teammate. I let him down if I don't do it at 3:53. So
well, the funny thing about it is the day you don't do it is the day people ask do you feel okay, which is kind of cool. Because I know I've run into and encountered a number of people that say that they watch that and it gets them going, because you are helping people by doing that stuff. Even the gym, even the videos at the gym, you're helping people do that. The walking, anyway, the videos that you're doing, fantastic. There are people that look forward to that stuff.
Well, I tell you, thank you for saying that. I tell you, what I really realize more and more is I hope people see that you don't have to be doing all big things all the time to have a great life. If you're a person that just shows up every day, and you're right too, the person that doesn't show up every day, when he does show up, everybody says, "Oh wow, he's here." But the person that shows up every day, probably people aren't going to thank him. They're not going to recognize it most of the times because he is there every day. They just assume that he's going to be there. It's the day that he's not there.
They count on it. So so they definitely do. They count on it. And the other thing is that your website, I'm sorry, but it's truegritlife.com.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that people should stop by and see that because it'll give them another added insight into really what goes on behind the scenes and an explanation on what you're doing and what you bring to the table.
Yeah. It's a lot of it comes from my father and grandfather. I've said this so many times too, because when I was younger, I didn't respect them the way I wasn't disrespectful to them, but I didn't realize how great of men they were because they were really what I'm doing now. That's how I think I've learned it, where it's just they would just show up every day. If they didn't, we didn't eat, right? Because the cows had to get milked. The dairy would come and pick up the milk. They'd pay us money for the milk, and then we could buy food. If my father and grandfather, they were the ones working the farm, but they didn't get up in the morning and milk the cows. That process just didn't happen. I didn't ever hear them complain about it. They were always just the happy people and working hard. And one day it was raining. So the dog was running with my father and trying to get out of the rain. And the dog ran underneath my father's feet and tripped him up. He fell down and his head was unconscious, knocked himself out. This is in the middle of the day. So they milked the cows in the morning. Now he's passed out. He goes, lays down for a little bit, and then gets up and goes milks cows again. Those cows had to get milked. It didn't matter what was going on.
God bless, right? I mean, that's
and I don't know how you were. I just don't think I was playing hockey and fighting all the time and everything, and I thought that's what a man's supposed to be. You're supposed to be tough and everything. And my father and grandfather were just not like that at all. They were just loyal guys, showed up every day, did the work.
Consistent.
Yeah. And that's what the true good life to me has really become. And I'm glad you're bringing it up, because I really didn't know what I was doing when I started the whole true good life thing. And it's really just kind of evolved into more me just understanding who I am and where I came from and the decision. And the writing the book was a fantastic thing too, which is all hopefully done pretty soon. So
yeah, let's get that out there. And you have to add a chapter about your friend here.
I
mean, come on.
Honest to God,
experience.
That is part of the process. That's part of the reason why the book has taken so long, is that I keep adding new stuff. I'm so lucky about my life now. It's like there's new stuff happening in my life all the time, and we just keep writing about stuff. So yeah.
I just can't. My book is taking so long because I don't know whether to call it patiently aggressive or passively assertive.
Oh,
think about those titles.
That's it. So say the first one again.
That's my point. Patiently aggressive.
Patiently aggressive.
Isn't that nuts? And or passively assertive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Are those the names you're thinking about?
I love those names. Yeah. I don't know yet. Yeah. Or Divorced People Are From Uranus. I mean, that's still one of my favorites. I started that book, I think in like the 2000s. I had like 9 chapters. Oh,
that's funny.
Good stuff.
Somebody the other day said something to me. What they say I was unapologetically courageous and ready.
There you go.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Like, it's like I'll do anything now. I realize that. Then don't you find too, the more you do things that gets you out of your comfort zone, the more you're willing to get out of your comfort zone?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, that's the whole thing. Even coaching, let's say coaching, or if the sports world, okay, things that happened in the 70s and 80s, as far as the way people worked out and did things, it's all changed now. So when you get somebody who is still thinking that it's 1980 in athletics, okay, and now they come into the year 2020, now there's like visualization, okay. I mean, visualization started, I can't even pronounce it right. It started in the 2000s. It became something that I was aware of, where a lot of the pros were doing that, where they were visualizing scoring a goal and or making a pass or making a great save, and then a lot of times they would tell me that it actually happened exactly the way they saw it, and and then I had Neil Clark coaching with me one summer. Neil Clark, who we both know. And he had just been doing it because he went to training camp with the Red Wings the year before.
I was his agent actually.
Yeah, no. Okay. So that was great the way you must have held the Red Wings hostage to let him try out. No, I'm only kidding. No, Neil's a great guy. Yeah. Please take him. Please. Just he'll just fight somebody and then you get rid of him. Yeah. But anyway, so he though took one of the kids and said, visualize scoring a goal. He did the whole thing. He did the whole thing that like they did to Pavel Datsyuk and Lidstrom and all of them, right? So Neil did it to this kid Malcolm, and sure enough, we had a game that day. Malcolm scored a shorthanded goal, which is what we talked about on the car ride to the rink. Right. On a shorthanded goal. The goalie's pads were white, just like he envisioned when Neil did the exercise, and he was an opposite hand goalie. So you know what I'm saying? And Malcolm did it. And when he scored, he came back to the bench. He was like, I can't believe it, and he like, we were all stunned. It was like spooky, but
that is great. Especially when you do that with a young person. Coaching the girls' high school team this year, we had a simple play off and face off in the offensive zone where one defenseman would win the puck back to her, and we had to switch sides. So the other defenseman was on her offside. She could shoot a one-timer. So we came over to the bench, set it all up and everything. And I said to the girl that was going to shoot, I said, you got this. You're going to do this. And she shoots, he scores. She's on the ice. She looks over at the bench. She goes, it worked. It worked.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, that's good stuff.
It's classic. She was a great girl, too. She worked really hard. But it does feel good, right? When you've got a young person and you convince them that they can do something. And they go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, all it is throwing out positive. I mean, that's all you're doing. You're just throwing out positive into the world and getting them going. That's all it is. But those little comments and everything, the encouragement, it's so
Isn't that true?
important
Like
to
you
encourage.
touched on it there before, how in school, you really got me thinking more now. School's great. Yes, you need to learn the math and science and all that kind of stuff. No question. But like to be a stronger person too, right? Like
Yeah.
feeling better about yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Self-awareness. I
Yeah.
mean, they should just teach that self-awareness,
Yeah.
self-love, really,
True.
and thinking positive, looking at things positive. You hear all the time people saying that when you wake up in the morning, you have a choice, either to look at it positive
Yeah.
or negative. And
Yeah.
whatever choice you pick, believe me, it's more than likely going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
and
Oh,
and
isn't it
I'm
true?
a yes.
Yeah.
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 I mean, today's going to be a great day. Imagine if you wake up and say,
Yeah.
today's going to suck.
I know.
It's going to suck.
I don't even think it's possible for us to say that now, right? Don't you think we built ourselves to the point where like I can't imagine you saying that to me. So
No, I can't either. But I mean, there were days when I would say that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Way back when. Well, when I was on, and you remember that rock band I sometimes mentioned, but I'm not going to ever say it again. One of those
yes.
rock bands, one of the largest rock bands.
Aerosmith.
Yeah, there you go. When
Yeah.
I was on tour with them, and you're 9 months in on the tour, and you'd wake up and say, oh, we're going to wherever, we're going to whatever city it was that we don't want to go to. But the fact of the matter is that, of course, then we were disappointed, and guess what? We got disappointment because if you go in with negativity, negativity also is stronger than anything. Like it's easier to think negative about anything. It's easier to get that. It's almost normal or natural to
it is. It's
negative.
a natural thing for you to start the negative stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
No question.
So to combat that with thinking positive is it goes against a lot of the things that you hear about in the world and the voices in your head and every other damn thing. So I really that's the thing for me is just to wake up and choose positive no matter what the day is. I'm going to make the best out of today.
Yeah.
In other words, even if you know it's going to be a bad day, in other words, if there's a lot of things going on that aren't that great, I'm going to make the best out of this. I'm going to find the good in this day.
Yeah. I was, and again, it goes back to the more you do that to yourself, the more easy it is to do, right? The more you push yourself through things. I know I've told the stories many times, but I was really fired up. We'd gone during the playoffs, the Rangers, they'd flown myself, Ron Greshner, and a bunch of fans into Raleigh for game 5. Got back, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning by the time I got home. And I had to get up. I was going to get up at 3:30, and I was on the plane. And everybody knew that I got up early. They said, "Well, you're not going to get up tomorrow at 3:30." Yeah, I said, "Oh yeah." And I got so fired up that I feel like I had one of my best days ever, best workouts ever, because I knew I had not had enough sleep. And Brendan Duffy, I'm sorry, you're a sleep expert, and we've had this discussion before. And I totally agree with the science of sleep, how important it is. In fact, I think it's one of the most important things you can do for yourself. It's just that on a day where I don't get enough sleep, I think I've trained my mind enough to say, okay, Tom, you are not where you should be physically because you didn't get enough sleep. So you need to push through that. Right. So, I love that.
Well, look, there are times when you're going to be pushed out of your routine.
Yep.
You're going to be pushed out of your routine. It just happens. Right. I mean, so that you can't get bent out of shape about it, and making it a challenge is what you need. Somebody like your personality, my personality, we need a challenge,
right?
And that's all it was. You accepted the challenge, and
I believe that you could train yourself to be like that too. Maybe right now you're a younger person, you're very maybe passive, or you want to sit on the fence, you really don't want to do things. But for me, I should back up now. I'll use myself as an example. When I first went to college, I was a little farm boy. I'd never been off the farm, and I went to Northern Michigan University at 18 years old. My parents told me later they thought I'd be home in about 2 weeks. I wouldn't be able to live away from home, and I'd never looked back. But it was so. I remember we went to a party at a girls' dorm. About half the team got invited to this party, and we got the leather jacket on, the big end there, feeling like we're really Joe Cool and the whole bit. We get to the door, we can hear the girls. They're all freshmen now, all like 18, 19 years old. And you hear the girls talking inside the room, and we're all too scared to open the door. We're all standing there, all these big, tough hockey players. We're too nervous to open the door, because we're all these kids that off the farm and the whole bit. I remember I had to muster up like this huge amount of courage, to go open the door. It was this big deal. I remember thinking to myself, I was so nervous. Yeah, and I did it. And I was like so proud of myself. I'd done this big thing. And I think I started realizing then that, getting out of your comfort zone kind of thing. But I don't know where it came from, because I was not like that before. I was really, I was always playing sports and moving up, but I was always at home.
Yep.
going home to mom and dad. And
yeah, but just imagine how cool your parents were, because there's a lot of parents that might just say, "Hey, you might be back in 2 weeks."
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And plant that seed in your head, as opposed to you're going to be fine, you're going to be okay, you're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
We're here. Call us.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Give it your best shot.
Yeah, they were always like that. That's an excellent point by you. They played a huge role in that part of me being who I was. I remember Roger Nielsen was a famous coach. He was coaching Peterborough at the time, and he was the guy. I remember I got drafted by the Peterborough Petes in the second round, the midget draft, and he sent us a training program. And we didn't know. My dad he bought me these plastic weights with sand inside them, and I was working out in the basement the whole bit. And a big part of it was running. And so I'd run out the gravel roads, and I started getting shin splints. Didn't know what it was. Went to the doctor. He says, "You get shin splints." And my parents never said stop running. They just went home, and I continued to run. That was just the way, like they never said, "Tom, you can't be running anymore. I get shin splints." I just keep on running. And that's the background I grew up in. But you're right. My parents are just always just keep on going. Like it's never, you can't do this, you can't do that. In fact, I tell them a funny story. Yeah, and a funny story where my mother were at a lacrosse game, and some boy pushed me in the lobby after the lacrosse game and knocked soda out of my hand, and I didn't stick up for myself. Like 6 or 7 years old. I'd never fought before. So we get out to the parking lot. My mother's this tiny woman, like 4'11" or whatever, and never swore hardly at all. But we get out to the parking lot. She looks around. She goes, "If you ever let somebody do that to you again, I'm going to kick the shit out of you."
That's awesome. How good is that?
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh my God." And she never spoke and I don't want to paint the wrong picture of my mother. She passed about 25, 26 years ago, but
God bless her.
The thing is that she never swore like that. So when she did swear, it was like, "Oh, I guess I need to do something about that from now on." So yeah.
That's awesome. But so your parents were basically salt of the earth people. They were just totally, right. I mean, God bless. And that's a great environment. That farm environment, you can't beat that. I mean, you really can't.
That's a great point. Yeah. And you know what? I've learned this more and more from people like yourself and from Jackie that we do, the hypnotist, and Kathleen and everything. Talking about those early years, anywhere from, they talk about even in the womb, but up to 7 or 8 years old. Yeah. The environment that you grew up in, parents, it's just like I'm learning more and more about how important it is that parents and teachers and coaches that have kids at those ages that they're dealing with. You played a huge role in their upbringing too. So,
yeah, and it's what you plant, the seeds you plant in their head. They're gonna carry that for really the rest of their lives, for Pete's sakes.
Yeah, it's interesting now that we think about it. It's interesting you brought that up. Is I'm thinking back now. My environment was just go do it. It was like we didn't overtalk it. But they never said negative things about my abilities or lack of abilities. When I first started playing hockey, I couldn't skate. I don't ever remember my parents saying anything about that. It was just, it's up to you. Go skate and go learn how to skate if you want to skate. Right?
If you want to do it, do it.
Yeah,
exactly. So that's it. The encouragement, just a little encouragement. Doesn't have to be a big deal. Just let's go, go do it. You want it, make it happen. Yeah. I think that.
And you know what? I should back up too. You're definitely like that when you coach. I mean, I need to point that out. When you were coaching, that was one of the things I saw. I thought maybe he doesn't know anything about hockey. I'm kidding you.
Yeah, that's all right.
You know hockey. But the one thing you did, it was always positive. It was like, rarely, like even joking around where you get beat 9-0 that game, and you said you'd take your shirt off and wave it out. You made it into a fun thing. I remember thinking, okay, we get spanked in the game, but it's fun because Rich is taking his shirt off, waving around.
We had some great, those were some great teams, and I was lucky. I really was lucky, because when I decided that I wanted to get involved again in hockey, I run into you, and who's better than the guy who played in the NHL, and you were fantastic to have, show me the ropes and all of that stuff. And the guys from the farm in Western Canada, the Manhattanville guys, I got them to come on the ice. I realized one thing about me. I realized I couldn't skate, so I better find somebody who can. Who better than you or Valerie Kaminsky? I remember Valerie Kaminsky coming out on the ice, and I said, do you want to draw a drill? He goes, "You draw, I skate." I'll never forget that. And so I was very lucky, and all the guys from Manhattanville. I mean, there were so many of them. And
you're a good example for people, because you put your heart into it. And I think when people want to help somebody like yourself that is putting your heart into it, if somebody's just showing up, putting in their time, He's like, I'm not going to go do all the work for the guy. He's not putting an effort into it, but you put your heart into it. So it's like, yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, and I continue to have a lot of fun right until COVID ended the season. And now I'm still doing stuff down here for USA Hockey, speaking virtually to a lot of the coaches, like the stuff that we did at the Garden that day, with the 1,000 coaches.
That was a fun one, yeah.
That was a great one, yeah.
Picking on the guy with the Islander hat on, yeah.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah. And Mullins was there, and Valaket, and now people that don't know hockey are saying, "Who are you talking about? These guys?"
Yeah.
But they would realize that. So somebody gave us the answer. It's Dr. Andrew Huberman. So if you want to get more information on the science of this, that the things that we're talking about, there's another guy that's on YouTube, and you can Google him. And he is an interesting character. He really is. And you know what, Tom? He had a rough upbringing. There's which I haven't really heard. I just know that he had a rough upbringing, and he has overcome that. And he is one of the guys like us that wakes up, wants to see the bright lights, and and all of that, and works out. He works out 5 times a week. The same kind of deal. So he's an interesting character.
And, for people out there that are, having a hard time during COVID or just in general, depression, whatever, I'm a huge, I think Rich is too, a huge believer in that discipline really helping you out. That process that you have, whatever your process is. It doesn't have to be getting up at 3:30 in the morning. Maybe it's getting up at 6 o'clock and making it, okay, I'm getting up at 6 o'clock every day. I've got my process. I'm going for a walk. I'm getting my cup of coffee. I just find that discipline means so much. Jocko Willink, the former Navy SEAL, does a lot of talking about discipline all the time. And he calls it discipline. I don't know if he created this or not, but discipline gives you freedom, freedom from a lot of things. So discipline, if maybe you're overweight, if you have discipline in your diet, gives you more freedom now to feel better about yourself. So it's huge, I think.
Yeah, Jocko's very interesting. I mean, he's also somebody that, and a lot of times I find that we're doing a lot of what these guys are suggesting. And one of them is don't question your process. If you have a process and it works, just do it. In other words, he says, I don't even think about it. He says, I just get up and I do my thing, and off I go, and less thinking and more doing. So, that's
don't ask anybody else's opinion about your process too. You have your process.
No,
somebody's making fun of your process, just stick with it. Yeah.
Oh, who gives a crap about that? Yeah. Their opinion doesn't mean anything to you. The important thing is that anybody who sees this, subscribe to the True Grit Life channel, and come back and watch this and leave comments, and we'll answer them after we play here. Michael Jordan would play 36 holes of golf before Game 7 of the finals. Yeah, well, Michael Jordan is one of a kind, boy. He's something else.
Definitely.
Our time's up, huh?
Yeah, definitely. And just to be sure, again, that new suicide hotline is 988 for anybody out there that needs any help. If anybody needs help, you can certainly reach out to either one of myself or Rich. We'd love to help.
Yep.
But again, 988 is for the suicide hotline. So
I got one quick shout out. Cosmic Kava made me this Creighton coffee drink because it was going to give me energy. And James, thank you very much. It's right near the studio, and he's a heck of a guy.
And what's the name of the place again?
It's called Cosmic Kava.
Kava. Oh, very cool.
It's good stuff.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Definitely. All right. All right. Good to see you. See you next week.
All right. Bye.